Hey guys, and welcome back to a 1v1 podcast. I'm your host Vlhadus, and just to give a shout out to all my viewers out there, if you are interested in wanting to have a 1v1 with me, it does not matter if you are an Ashes creation content creator, even if you're just a passionate MMO fan and you want to come and talk Ashes, just come and chat with me in general. You can always hit me up on Discord, on Twitter. My DMs are completely open, and I'd love to hear from you. But I have a really awesome content creator with us, and that is Reydan. How are you doing today, bro?
Hey everyone. Well, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me to this podcast.
I'd love to have you, man. Honestly, like the very first video that I saw was your video on the 64 classes, which is like when I saw it, it was like at 120,000 views. So, dude, you have probably the most successful outside of Lazy Peon, one of the most like viral videos. And I am definitely going to link that in the description down below because I'm pretty sure people have probably already saw it. But I just want to ask you before we even get into the whole like Ashes talk, but like for you in general, like what is like your gaming history looking like? Like what kind of MMOs have you played in the past?
Oh boy, that's a that's a very colorful history.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I think so. For me, it started with like some really bad MMORPGs. I would say, like in the very pay-to-win territory,
Ooh.
because in the place I grew, like no one played the popular MMOs like World of Warcraft or something like that. Like that wasn't popular here, which is really strange. So everyone played stuff like, I don't even know if you heard about it, Metin 2.
Never heard of it.
And another one was Perfect World International.
I have heard of that one. It's not really popular in the United States, but it is actually pretty popular overseas. So I have heard of that one, but I've never played it. So I'm guessing it's like a pay-to-win kind of MMO experience.
Yeah, okay. Heavily pay-to-win. But I didn't know that at the time.
Oh yeah, for sure. So with these kinds of MMOs, like when did you ever start playing any of like the mainstream MMOs, at least here in the States, like World of Warcraft, like Final Fantasy 14, Arcade, Guild Wars 2, like any of those?
I mean, you could say play, like I got into them like really late, close to like, I already played my pay-to-win MMOs for like 7 years, 8 years, and then I discovered World of Warcraft, and I was like, oh, this is amazing.
Right.
And I tried it for a little bit. I even tried if you know the time frame before the vanilla launched. Like everyone was crazy about the private servers and the projects that were like popping up on the side, and Blizzard took note, and they were like, okay, we can steal this. We can have this idea.
Right.
So around that time frame, I got into World of Warcraft a bit more, but not for long, not for a long time.
Okay. And what was it about the Warcraft experience that turned you off? Was it just because you didn't have people to play with? Was it just the rating? Was it just transforming into a game you just didn't like anymore?
For me, I would have really loved to play and continue playing WoW, but it was like a combination of many factors. One, you just said, it was like the lack of friends on that game.
Right.
I tried for the longest time to get my group of friends to just join me and like have fun, and level together. But no one they didn't feel like the vibe of that MMO, and it was really strange because it's WoW. Like, who doesn't like WoW?
Right.
So
at least the early version of it was really good.
Yeah. I mean, it still continues to be like a great MMO, but different factors kind of ruined it lately.
Right.
But also another one would be wait, actually I had a good one, but I forgot.
Black Desert Online?
No. Besides the lack of friends.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man, I had a really good one, but I actually forgot what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
if I remember, I will mention it.
No problem. I mean, I know a lot of people, especially playing Classic, like a lot of people got turned off with the questing because the questing took a long time. Like people really forget like how long it took like the average person back in 2006 or even 2005 to level. So, I
Yeah.
mean, there was a lot of people that, and again, this is like coming from EverQuest 2, from Ultima Online, Dark Age of Camelot, a lot of really hard games. I mean, my very first MMO experience was actually from Final Fantasy 11, and I only played that game for a couple of months, and I quit that game because you can de-level in that game. There was XP loss. There was a whole bunch of really bad things that could happen. If you're in a bad group like I was, I de-leveled from 30 to 26. And mind you,
I think I heard of that.
yes,
Like people telling their horrible experience, like losing their progress.
Right. As that's one thing for Ashes. Like I feel with XP debt. I'm not a fan of XP debt, especially in today's market. It's 2022. I don't think XP debt should be there, because I think outside of XP debt, there's 7 other things that happen to you upon death that really matter. So death still matters even without XP debt. I think XP debt's just archaic and outdated as a thing that should happen to you. But I guess if you want, do you want to talk about Ashes?
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
So I'm really curious, like, when did you find out about Ashes of Creation?
That would be around the time I started my channel, so maybe close to the end of last year.
Okay.
Like somewhere
like
there.
the end of 2021?
Yeah, middle to the end of the year.
Okay, so you're talking like August, September time, maybe? Like
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate.
Okay. And did you watch like a video that got you introduced to it? Did you see like the Lazy Peon video? Like who told you?
Yeah. Yeah, I think everyone saw the Lazy Peon video. I mean, that was he was the guy to basically introduce me to Ashes, because I saw the video and I got really hyped.
Oh yeah, I know. For me, I played World of Warcraft for 15 years. I quit July of 2021. So I found out about Ashes of Creation in July of 2020. So Asmongold, I don't know if you're familiar with Asmongold, but he's a really big streamer here in the United States. And he was watching the Lazy Peon video of Ashes of Creation, and that was my first time watching it. And basically what ended up happening was Steven, the main guy of Ashes, saw Asmon watching the Lazy Peon video, messages him on Twitter and says, "Hey, if you want to talk Ashes after you're done watching the video, just message me and I'll talk to you." So I got to see a whole amazing 30-minute video of Lazy Peon, and then an hour and a half of Steven talking to Asmongold about Ashes. Ever since then, I was completely hooked and waiting for Ashes. However, I did not get into the Alpha one. I didn't buy because I was still playing World of Warcraft. I was still watching the monthly live streams for Ashes and still, seeing the content that was coming out. But for me, like after the turning point in July of 2021, I finally quit WoW. The clutches do not remain on me anymore. So I pretty much am full steam ahead in Ashes. So I made the decision in December of 2021 to become a content creator for Ashes of Creation. Because a lot of the content, after I quit WoW, I wanted to find a new community. And so what I did was I started watching, content creators for Ashes and going into their Discords and just hanging out. And I actually met a couple of really cool people that are content creators, and they kind of inspired me to become a content creator myself. So that's pretty much like how I got started. But so for you, was it just watching the Lazy Peon video and then being like, oh my God, I want to start creating content for this game, and you just went full steam ahead? Is that how it happened?
I mean, it was a great video.
Right.
It was amazing. But for me, it was the rabbit hole that I got into after that video.
Right.
Basically, I was like, this sounds pretty good. And then I got more and more into it and saw the creators and saw the mentality of Steven and the team. And kept getting more info. And I was like, this is goddamn amazing.
Right.
And it kept getting better while I was getting more info. So, okay, yeah, this is great. This is this might be the future of MMOs.
Right. And so because I know especially for me, like I was not expecting the Unreal 5 announcement. So I'm really curious, like, how was your reaction to the whole Unreal 5 news?
That was actually, that took me completely by surprise.
Right.
I was tired that evening for the stream, and I was just casually eating, and then they popped the announcement, and I was like, holy fuck, what? Is this real?
Right. No,
like, that was something. That was a great decision from them.
And you see, I always thought that probably wasn't going to happen before the launch of Ashes. I thought what was going to take for them to jump to Unreal 5 was like an expansion. Like, you know, we would have the actual launch of Ashes of Creation, and then maybe a year and a half later, they'd give us an expansion. That expansion would take us into Unreal 5. But the fact they did it now, like, it tells me a lot to what Steven wants to present the public to.
Yeah.
Because he really wants a great game. I mean, because you've heard the stories of Steven, right? He's been burned just like a lot of the other MMO community has about, you know, being promised a certain product and that product not fulfilling the desires of the community. So I'm really curious, like, how did you create that video for the 64 classes? Because, well, actually, before you even go into that video, were you ever a content creator before?
No. That was,
oh my god. So you're telling me you were completely new to YouTube and you created a video like that? Dude, congratulations, dude, because you are amazing. Like, and I just also want to congrats to you as well, because you recently hit 1,000 subscribers on your channel, dude. Like,
thanks.
Yeah, congratulations. Like, and I'm one of those subscribers, by the way. So but yeah, like, I know that's a very tall feat to do. I know my goal for my personal channel is by the end of this year is to have 1,000 subscribers. If I'm, you know, being super duper optimistic, maybe 1,200. But, you know, and that's just my projections that I see, because I try to calculate all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I am just passionate to make content for Ashes, because I feel like there's just so much to talk about with this game and how deep the rabbit hole goes, specifically for like the systems and the node system, the PvP. And you recently just made that PvP video, really good, by the way. But I just want to say, like, with the 64 classes, like, how much research did it take for you to make that video? Because you were super in depth, and I also think your voice plays a really great role into keeping people's attention, because you have a great narration voice.
Thanks. Actually, looking back on that, man, I talk so slow. Looking back on my current videos and that one, I'm kind of tempted to put myself on a 1.5 speed or something like that.
No, man, I thought you did really, really well. I mean, it's like I said, when I first watched it, I was like, dude, this is really good content. And a lot of the content creators that I talk to have made content before in the past. And, you know, so like they already have like a leg in the game. Like for me, I made content back in like 2012 for WoW, but it wasn't anything like what I'm doing now. It was just for the hunter class. I played a hunter, and I wanted to make guide videos on how to do rotations, cooldowns, openers, and that's basically what I did. But it wasn't really anything super in depth or a lot of editing. And so I despise editing because it's just so tedious and time consuming. And I just look at your video and I'm like, dude, this had to have took like weeks, if not like a month, to do this one video. So I'm really curious, like how long did it take you to create that 64 class video with the races?
No, you kind of nailed that.
Oh, just
that's kind of yeah. It was. It shouldn't have took that long. It was like horrible, tedious, repeated, and like inefficient work, because that was the first project, like the first big project, and I knew like nothing. And when I needed to learn something new about how to use the software, because I use DaVinci, I just went for a tutorial and then incorporated that and like rinse and repeat.
Right. I mean, believe me, like it to be a YouTuber, there are many hats you have to wear, because you are a solo man crew doing everything: the scripting, the narration, the editing, like the thumbnails, like the titles, the descriptions, like it's a lot of work, man. Like, and it's it's one of those things where people just kind of like expect content and expect you just to always be at this performance level of content. And I know for me, like I do weekly videos, and that was just something that I wanted to do, and I wanted to see if I could do it. And so far, starting in January, I have been able to do it. I've been able to do a video a week. I've also been simultaneously able to do my 1v1s every week too, which has been great. But at the same time, like I think for Ashes, and the reason why I feel so passionately for this game is because Steven has really done something that a lot of other people would never dare take the chance, because he's doing something that is so outside of the box, which is why it's so appealing. Because every other MMO creator does the safe route, does the thing like wants to make the WoW clone, wants to make the Final Fantasy clone, because that is safe and well guarded in their investment. And the fact that Steven's putting in what 40 million of his own money, not to mention whatever he got from Kickstarter, into this project, he doesn't want this to fail, you know. And I know they're going to take their time with Alpha 2. I really want to play Alpha 2 so bad, but hey, I'm willing to wait. But out of all the systems, like which system to you do you find like just so intriguing and like different?
No, it's definitely got to be the node system.
Right. So
that's like the big one.
So tell me about the node system. Like, what about it do you like?
Like the sheer scope. And regarding the thing you said earlier about Steven and his decision to move to Unreal Engine, I wanted to circle back to that as well, because Steven, not only, and his team of course, because they are all great people.
Right.
Not even they got the passion, but they are also making like, it feels like they really know like the mistakes to avoid, and they actually, the thing that impresses me the most is that they take really, really smart decisions, like the move to Unreal Engine and slightly delaying the project, but getting so much more efficiency and like making the move early. It's like such a smart decision, and lots of little stuff like that. It's all efficiency, and it's gonna compound in the end, and it's gonna be so worth.
Oh no, I completely 100% agree. I think they learned a lot of lessons. I mean, again, this is a very green studio. I mean, like I said, Steven's not a developer. They made a lot of mistakes into Alpha 1. They delayed Alpha 1 I think 7 times, to be totally honest with you. And that was because they promised and couldn't deliver, And I think that's why after Alpha 1, the whole team decided we're going to under-promise, but we will over-deliver. And I think that's what they've been doing. And especially, that's why it kind of sucks for us content creators, because we get this trickle in of information because they don't want to promise something. And look at what happened with the character creator. We were hearing the character creator in December. Steven's like, oh, we're going to show you guys the character creator in January. Finally, in April, we get it, you know? So that just goes to show you like the kind of quality, and even Steven mentioned the kind of quality they're aiming for in every bit of the game. So, and it going back into the node system, the kind of quality they want to put into the node system with having 103 different nodes in the whole world, like the scope of it is pretty insane. But I mean, I want to ask you again, like what specifically like about the node system just really excites you?
One of the things gotta be the insane scope, because it's like no one's ever done that. Like, like you see it, you hear it, you see it on paper. Right. But how will that actually feel in the game? That will actually be something amazing, I imagine. Oh, yeah. We don't know if it will fail. I believe it will not fail. And the team is smart, and they will be able to make it happen. But something like that is like the node system plus everything that blends together is like the ultimate role-playing, like the perfect immersion. Like you can do so many things, and like the node war got to be like the biggest scope. Like they want to aim for like 500 versus 500. I think that they will make that happen. Well, like easily.
Yeah, and especially because in December's live stream they showed you remember that zoom in camera of like all of the battling happening before the castle siege, like, and before. Because I actually just did my recent top 5 videos, and I actually put these 2 parts in the video to kind of give people the idea, because before they showed that tabletop of the 1,000 players standing in a T-pose, and and so they showed that just to show you that they've been optimizing their back end. And then by
Yeah.
the time December rolls around, they optimize it even further to actually show people in like fighting animations and doing like siege weapons, and it was just, it's nutso. Like, and I said this in my video, if they can pull off, even if they can pull off 250 versus 250, hell, 100 versus 100, what other MMO provides you that kind of content? No other MMO. So if you want to do large siege castle battles, Ashes is going to be your game. And so I think right now the node system, and I guess for me, is the fact that it's going to take a server to make a change. Like, and I think that is so badass, because everything is now at the individual level. Like, you play an MMO, you play it the majority of the time, you're going to play it by yourself. You don't need a group to do anything really until you finally get into dungeons or raiding. But outside of that, you can do 100% of the MMO by yourself. In Ashes, everything is so interconnected and interwebbed that group content is really gonna matter. And I am just so anxious to get back to an MMO where the multiplayer feels relevant, right? Because right now it's a very solo player experience. And I'm not saying that I'm not wanting them to cater to single players, but I want them to incentivize the group play. And I think the node system is really going to do that.
Completely agreed. One of the things that was like maybe like a shimmer of hope in the old MMORPGs that I played, even though they were pay to win and terrible at many things, the games were hard, like unintentional. And so it forced players to group. And there were so many social interactions, and like it felt like guilds felt like family, like everyone helping each other. You need that in MMORPGs to be, if you want to have a great MMORPG, you need that. That's my opinion.
Oh no, I completely agree. And especially with the economy being so like Steven talks to the economy very passionately. I don't know if he was like really big in professions. It seems like he was, but professions in Ashes are really going to matter. Like, it's not going to be like in World of Warcraft where you just have like professions that are completely ancillary. You don't even need professions really. But in Ashes, especially at the beginning, a lot of the economy is really going to run off of who has professions, what has leveled up or whatever. And because of how gathering nodes are going to be, at least right now on paper, that can definitely change in Alpha 2. But how the randomization is going to happen, where you might go to a place and you might find a certain node in that area to herb, and you may not find that herb again. It may not never be in that area. It might be randomized somewhere else. So the fact that scarcity is going to be a thing, the fact that leveling is going to take time, it's not going to be, that's the one thing I was really relieved, is that leveling isn't going to be day one. Like, meaning, because you play Lost Ark, you play a lot of MMOs nowadays, you can level from 1 to max in a single day. And in Ashes, it's going to take you almost a month, maybe even a month and a half. And that's if you're playing like 6 to 8 hours, like, you know, every day. So that's a lot of time. And I think it's that time investment that people are looking for. Like, because if you can beat the game in a day, you're going to be like, in 2 weeks, you're going to be like, oh, okay. Like, and that's why you see drop-offs happen in Lost Ark, New World, because the game's so beatable so quickly that there's not much left to work towards. So I'm really curious though, are you really big into professions at all?
Man, I actually, when I make videos, I do like a big research on that topic. So most of my knowledge comes from that. And I don't really know much yet about the artisan things and the professions. I know a bit, but not too much. And when I get into something, that's like a big part that makes me want to, I keep information from myself. So when I go into research for a video, I have fun. And I get to know stuff. So that's like a thing to come, because I want to make a video on that too.
Awesome.
So yeah.
So is that like how you process like what you want to do YouTube wise? So like whenever you're like, what have I not talked about? Oh, I haven't talked about like PvP or the corruption system. Let me research into that. Let me go into that. So is it like a little sneak peek? Are you saying that you're going to make a professions video, or what's going on?
Yeah. No, that's
awesome.
That's definitely happening. Yeah.
Awesome, man. And so I'm really curious, like, did you make an update for the April live stream for the character creator?
Yeah, that's actually almost done.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I'm really anxious to hear your opinion on that. And if you want, if you want to talk about it right now, because just to say this, I was completely blown away with what they showed us. I was not prepared for that level. Because what they presented us was better than what some MMOs have that's been out for over 10 years. Like their character creator is better than WoW's. It's better than Final Fantasies. It's better than New Worlds. Like, I'm really curious. Like, what's your opinion on the character creator?
No, that's completely nuts. The character creator is just
it's crazy. It's crazy.
I expected quality, but I was still surprised when I saw it, because
Right.
it's like it's done right. Like
Right.
you can already see the compounding from their smart decisions over time. Like it's getting so good, and they're gonna keep getting better. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, because they're gonna use this and make NPCs, make animal husbandry stuff with it. Like it's coming together. Like, that's wow. And yeah, I was just completely impressed by the character creator. I think the whole content creator space was like positively impressed. Like I saw Asmongold react to it. I saw the Lazy Peons video about it. Everyone is like of the same mind with this.
Oh yeah, I mean, I again, like I think what they managed to show was great. And honestly, like I went to their forums and I did leave like a comment for feedback, because they had a whole thread they posted. But I have like little, it's not even nitpicks, but it's just something that I would like for them to see is like birthmarks, freckles, moles. I would like to see a more aging, because the aging just looks so, like if you went from 20 to 30 or 20 to 40, like it didn't have like the old man look that I was looking for. So I really hope they kind of like work on and tweak the age part of it, because I think that'd be really cool, especially with certain people that want to be like religious zealots that are like, the world is ending. Like they want to be like these really old people. Like that'd be so awesome. Like I think that'd be great. But
man, I think I want to try like an old guy that is a paladin as well.
Oh,
to be sick.
Yes, like I'm really curious. So what race do you want to play a Kalar? Is that like what you want to do?
Man, I want to play them all, I think. I have a problem with alts, but
me too. I am an altaholic.
I don't know the main character though. I think I wanna see the Tulnar first before I pronounce.
Right.
But without seeing the Tulnar, I think the Pyrai, the elves.
Oh, the male or female?
The male.
And it's so funny because I have a buddy that it looks just like my buddy Robert. Like, and I wanted to send him the photo and be like, bro, what are you doing in this game? Because it looks like his face. It looks like his face. It's just so funny. But anyway, no, like it's for me. I think the race that always kind of captured my eye coming from World of Warcraft is the Renkai. The Renkai, and I think I want to see some. The only nitpick I have with the Renkai is the little tusks that they showed us. I want to see some mammoth tusks. I want to see some mean orcs, you know? So I think if I can get that in my character creator, I'll be a happy boy. But with the Tolnar, if there's like a dragon kin that I can make, I probably will be a Tolnar, because who the hell does not want to be a dragon? But I don't know how far they're going to go, because I've seen like early concept that is apparently outdated and it's not factual at all. But I saw some like lizard people that I was like, that could be cool. Like, and I don't know like where they're gonna go with the Tolnar, because it's gonna be like underground. Like, is it gonna be like bug like or insect like or reptile like? I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place with the Tolnar. Like, what do you think the Tolnar is gonna be?
I mean, from the excuse me. I mean, you can see the silhouettes. Like, they got a bit of an early look, like some artwork with stuff, and like for sure there will be the reptilian stuff. You can see from the tails and the stuff like that. There will also be from another silhouette, I think, something like ape-like. Like it's like a big silhouette right there. You can see something big and like humanoid. So I'm thinking ape for that. Dragon for sure. Like it's got to happen. It's cool. Like, people want dragons. Of course, it's gonna happen.
Well, yeah, and especially for what Steven was talking about the Renkai, he's like, oh, what are those scales on him? Is he a part of like a dragon race, like from way back in the day? So it's like for them to actually have like a dragon race to play, like it's playable. like would be fucking cool. Like, oh my god, like I always wanted WoW to do something like that. And I don't know what the next expansion they do, if they will, because apparently it's gonna be dragon based. But anyway, but yeah, going back to the character creator, yeah, I thought the character creator just completely blew a lot of people's expectations. And I, coming from my guild, like a lot of the guildies were just like, holy crap, because the whole blend and the sculpting, like there's just a little more details they have to do, and I'm guaranteeing you that this character creator will be better than BDO. And I always thought, when Steven said that, I'm like, right, Steven, like you're gonna make a character creator better than BDO, like because BDO was always the gold standard, and now I am pretty damn confident they can actually beat BDO's character creator.
For me, I think I kind of already like this a bit more than the BDO because BDO felt always like hyper realistic and like everything is so shiny, and it's kind of for me, but it's personal taste. But for this one, it went so well with the art style of the game, and like it looked good, it looked natural.
Well, and the other thing too is that I personally didn't like about the BDO customization is it wasn't as intuitive. This character creator for Intrepids, dude, the fact that you can just get a tattoo and just copy and plop it onto the body, that blew my mind. I was like, because most tattoos are like already like permanently placed on the body or the face or wherever, so you can't manipulate that. And the fact that you were able just to plop it wherever, like all of my guilders like, man, I can't wait to have a tattoo on my butt. It's like, and it's just, I like that level of customization because so many people were wanting to have sleeves, like all like full-blown sleeves. And then you saw whenever he put the scorpion tattoo like on the face, like how it looked all tribalistic and stuff. Man, like I'm just telling you, like the scars, bro, the scars look so cool because you can see the bone underneath whenever they had the scar. Just like
it's so well made.
The level of detail is just incredible, and I really have to give a shout out to the artists and just the people behind the scenes making this thing, because golly, man, like, and again, I think it's this level of quality that we're definitely looking for Alpha 2. It doesn't even have to be this polished. I think this was over polished, to be totally honest. Like I would have been so glad just to even see this character creator without the blend and without the sculpt, and I still would have been impressed, especially with like the aging, even the hair length thing. I thought that was really cool. The fact you can have a hairstyle and actually make it very short, or you can make it longer, that was really, really good. But I guess going outside of the character creator for a second, I want to talk to you about one thing that I think a lot of people are not up in arms about, but are very worried about, which is combat. So I'm wanting to ask you this, since you've played, MMOs, where do you feel when it comes to combat? Are you an action combat guy? Are you a tab target combat guy? Where do you? Where do you
see? Well, for me, the system that Ashes wants to do is like perfect, because I don't know, like some games, like WoW, make tab targeting really good and it feels good. I wouldn't want something else in WoW, but some games make it feel really good when you got the action combat. So I don't know. I kind of need to step in the game and feel for it. I get to feel for it. So being able to choose, it's a bit ambitious. It's gonna take a lot of work and more time probably. But if they make this happen, like, and until now they didn't really miss, like they made things happen. They could do. They could be like, what other MMO has this done well? Is there like any MMO who does this?
So a lot of people always say Guild Wars 2 because they have technically a hybrid system where you can have little crosshairs if you want to, but a lot of Guild Wars people even tell me that no one does that. Like no one plays like that. They have it, but no one does it, but the way that most people play in a tab kind of way, but a lot of the abilities in Guild Wars 2 are action based. So you don't need to really target something because the cleave will hit everything. So it's, I mean, I guess you can say it's the closest hybrid we have that people like. But I don't know. I guess from my opinion, I don't know how I feel about a hybrid, because I feel like most of the time when developers try to appease both sides, no one's happy at the end. So But if I can go off of the character creator and just say, okay, well, they blew me away with the character creator, maybe I'm willing for them to still keep this hybrid thing in their head, because if they can at least give a really good tab targeting system and a really good action combat system, why not? I think the best thing that I could hope for is if you just limited it to certain classes. Like if you have melee, if you're a melee person, if you want to be a tab target, then you can be tab. If you want to be combat or action combat, you can be action combat. But I think the one worry I have is healers. I played a healer in WoW for many years, and I never played New World to any way, shape, or form, but the healing in that game looks freaking atrocious in an action combat sense. And I could not, for the life of me, see myself having fun playing in that sense. So I would at least hope for Ashes that even for the clerics, if they just were limited to tab. Like if you want to do it, you basically have to play tab, because there's no real functional way we can do like action to serve it, to have it really be a purpose that you're going to love. And I think it's going to be more of a nuisance than it is going to be a benefit, at least from a healing standpoint.
I actually have no idea how they will make it happen, like from the healing standpoint and other problems. Like, man, imagine trying to PvP and you got like horrible ping and you're an archer and you need to aim stuff.
Oh, that's another worry of mine too. It's like, so you take these huge siege battles, right? 250 versus 250. I mean, and again, I know they want to say they want very minimal lag, but even if there is that slight delayed lag, that is going to affect your damage on a very big scale, because even if you're lagging in tab, that arrow's going to hit and you may not see it. But if you're aiming, you're always going to miss because of that like 200 ms or 300 ms that's happening, because there's 200 people all around you and all these animations happening. I just feel that action doesn't provide at least the thing in what most people think is going to be an enjoyable experience. Like might be an enjoyable, like when you're solo questing or gathering or maybe some caravan runs, but in a large scale sense, I don't know if it's going to be real feasible to do action.
Yeah, I agree with that. But at the same time, I think this is, if I were to guess, this would be something like appeal to the biggest mass. Right. I feel like this is a decision for like attracting the biggest audience, because some people, like I saw so many comments, not only on my content but on other people's content as well.
Right.
There are diehard fans that are like, yeah, I'm not touching it if it's not in 2022, 2023 and beyond. I'm not touching it if it's not action combat.
Right.
And it's like, you can't please everyone.
Right.
That's hard. But I'm curious to see what they'll do, because they kept impressing until now. So why not?
No, correct. And I'm really curious, like, what do you usually main in class? Do you do DPS, range, healing, tanking? Like, what do you usually play?
Number one would be DPS, and close second would be tanking. But healer, it's like, I never tried it enough maybe to like it. I don't know. I need to try it more, but I never did.
All right, and what out of the 64 classes that you made a whole video about, which one do you think interests you the most?
I think it's the Spellblade.
Spellblade. Okay, so who's that? Is that the mage and the
and
fighter?
The fighter.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the fighter. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That was like, in all games, I always wanted to like have a perfect hybrid between magic and fighter, like warrior with magic.
Yeah.
And that's usually paladin, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say, because usually like my main is usually either a hunter or a paladin. Like paladin was the reason why I even played World of Warcraft, because when Burning Crusade was coming out, the paladins were going to be for the horde, and I was like, yes, okay, I'll get to play a blood elf paladin. I'm so excited, because I don't know, I love the whole lore behind paladins, and the fact that paladins and ashes are going to be a tank. There's another thing you can actually play called the Templar. I think it's the Templar.
Yeah.
I think it's the cleric fighter is the Templar.
I think so. Yeah.
So I'm really curious like how that's going to be, because like I've always loved the kind of like off healing but damage that I can do, the kind of light judge, like the whole like aesthetic of it. It seems really cool and flashy to me, and that's like usually the thing that I really gravitate to. But the one thing that I think I really want to see with the combat is how Unreal Engine 5 is going to incorporate with like not the physics, but like the particle effects, the lighting, like how awesome these particle effects are going to look with like Lumen and just the nanite technology like at its back. Because looking in the December update when he was going through that cave, the lighting was just incredible. And is a lot of the mage abilities like the Spellblade is going to probably have a blink, you know, and just seeing that updated look like of the blink, I just want to see some of the other abilities that they have up their sleeve when it comes to like the updated particle effects and everything like that. So I guess that's, you know, my whole thing on that. But I do want to talk about, because you did make a recent video on this, which is the whole PvP. So let's talk PvP for a second. So PvP is something that I've done, I wouldn't say a lot, but I love PvP, especially in World of Warcraft when it's like arena based. I really, really like it. When it's outside of the open world, if you're in a PvP server, it's atrocious. And the reason why it's atrocious is because there's no penalty. In World of Warcraft, you can kill somebody over and over and over and have nothing happen to you ever. And in Ashes of Creation, like that may not be the case, because if you kill somebody and they don't attack back, that person becomes corrupted. And so there's a whole system with what the corruption system brings. And I am so for a system like this, because to actually go in and grief somebody is one thing, but to grief someone, not grief, but to kill someone with purpose and knowing the risks that are associated with it, I think makes the game very much exciting, especially with the bounty hunter system. And just heck, other people, like other green people that are just non-combatants, can go and kill a corrupted player with, and they won't change their combat status at all, you know? So I'm really curious, like what's your whole take on the PvP thing?
I'm with Steven on this one. Let me explain a bit.
Okay.
I kind of already know what's gonna happen with this system, because it's been done before.
Okay.
Really similar things. I didn't play Lineage, but I think it was done there.
Yes,
from
it
what
was.
I know.
Yeah, Karma system is what it's called. Yeah,
I think so. But I also played the one I mentioned earlier, the horrible one, Metin 2.
Yeah.
I think I'm right on this one, but I think this was the first game to implement this system. It was a really basic and simple thing, like kill people, and your name, like your nameplate becomes another color, and you degrade in like a rank. You had like a hidden rank, and you could like not killing people, leveling normally, and playing like a decent human being, got you towards a blue rank, and it kept evolving and doing scumbag stuff, and like going on the PvP mode and attacking someone for no reason went down for you. Like your rank went down. And it was the same when you went down and you were on a red name. You could lose your, like, not only the equipped items, but like everything you had was like in danger of dropping on the ground when you died.
Wow. So it wasn't just one piece, it was everything.
Yeah, everything you held, like you could lose it.
That's insane.
Yeah, and I kind of know the psychology of that. People won't do it, like, at all. But when they get pissed, or when you take some good spot from them for farming or something like that, or when you say something to them, that's when they'll do it. And it feels nice. I like having this system. Like, what players truly want, I believe, is just freedom. You might not do it ever, but it feels nice to have the option, you know. Like, it's there. I can do it if I want to. I won't choose to do it probably, but it feels great to have it. That's a great decision.
And I think it's, again, it just creates the whole server dichotomy too, right? I've always wanted servers to matter, and when servers mattered back in the day with WoW, like, people knew people on servers. Like, when you see someone in trade chat, you saw the same familiar names like over and over, like, oh, that's the engineer, like he makes my bullets and arrows, or that's that guy who basically does mage ports, and you just tip him 2 gold and he'll, you know, port you wherever you want. Like, you recognize people on the server. And I think the one thing that a lot of people are discounting is there isn't like server hopping. So if you're on a server and you want to be a douchebag, no one's going to probably want to help you on that server, and you're going to be blacklisted on guilds So you're going to try to guild hop and go from guild to guild, and no one's going to take you because it's like, hey, we heard from this other guild you were a douchebag over there. And it's like this self-policing happening. And so you may have at the beginning this kind of upsurge in PKers, but I really do think that it's going to go down, because once they see like being corrupted isn't all what it's cracked up to be for most people, they're not going to do it, you know? And so I think when you see a person that's red or corrupted, it's really going to stand out, and it's going to be like, oh dang, like what the hell happened? Like, why did he kill that person?
No. His ass is getting hunted, like, for sure.
No, right. And
people want your items. Like, you're gonna die.
Oh, for sure. And that's the other thing too, is that you're level 40 and now you're corrupted. If you die, you can lose your rare or your epic item, like, or even your weapon. Like, you can lose something completely valuable to you, and you're like, dang. And the only thing that I hope Steven and the team does is, I don't want the option for you, oh, I'm a corrupted, I gotta log out. Like, I don't want to log out. Because either one or two things. Either one, you can't log out. So even if you alt F4 and you leave the server, your character should still be there, just completely stationary. Like you're just a sitting duck. Or that corruption, if there's like a debuff timer or whatever, if you log out, fine. But as soon as whenever you log back in, it's extended. You know what I mean? Like, I think there should be a punishment, like, you went away, now you have it for double the time or something like that. So I don't want there to be this incentivization of like trying to game the corruption system, because I think a lot of people are really going to try to, and I think in Alpha 2, break the corruption, which is necessary. We need this so that way it doesn't happen whenever the launch of the game happens. But I always tell my friends that are very scared, they're like, oh, why isn't there no PvE servers? I don't want to play Ashes if there's no PvE servers. And I'm like, dude, if you belong to a good guild or even a big guild, and you're in a server that is a PvX environment, and they see your guild tag and they mess with you, they just mess with your whole guild. Like, you don't realize that it's like, hey, I just died due to this guy just killing me for no reason. Like, I wasn't doing anything. He just killed me for no reason. And it's like, what's his name? Now everybody in your guild can go and hunt him. You see what I'm saying? Like, the people think it's going to be this, and I get it, because I came from WoW. I played Stranglethorn Vale like everybody else, and Stranglethorn Vale sucked. Everybody was ganking all these feral druids and rogues, just stealth camping you and did it all the time, and it was really annoying. You couldn't play the game. But that's not going to be the case in Ashes. The corruption system is going to deter a lot of people from just killing other people. So I really loved your video when it came to the PvP. I think it was very insightful. It brought up a lot of good points that I think need to be reiterated, because I think there is this fear of PvP, and I'm like, dude, PvP is going to be a lot of fun, and it's not going to be this thing where you're going to be in a server and you're trying to quest or you're trying to do something and people are just, oh, I'm going to go and kill you. Like, it's just not going to be the case. And most of the time you're going to be with a group of your friends anyway, because it's going to be more efficient to be with your friends and do stuff with your friends. So that's the one thing that I miss the most, is I don't know if you feel this.
True.
Is this
No, I feel you.
Like, when it comes to like playing with your friends again, like I played Lost Ark last month and I played the majority of that game by myself, dude. It sucked. And I was in a massive guild, but it just wasn't efficient to quest with them, because it was just more efficient to do it by yourself, do the story quest by yourself, do the dungeons by yourself. And it's like, oh, but we'll do stuff at endgame, and it's just like, but by that time I was just like, whatever, you know, I wasn't really feeling it all that much. But there's going to be a lot of systems in Ashes that are going to be group based, which I love. Like, my favorite, and I made a whole video on, is the caravan system. Like, man, dude, I am so excited for the caravan system on so many levels. I think that's going to be such a great, very cool system. And again, this is not new, right? Like, we've had this in other MMOs that have done this, like Arcage being one of them. But I think with the corruption system and the kind of incentives that Steven wants to do, especially with the road tech they want to do as well, which looks really, really cool, I think that's also going to provide incentives for people to talk to each other, for guilds to talk to each other. So you can have a caravan run that's going to be really easy, and it's just going to be one guild's mats to go to another guild in their town or wherever they are, so you guys can create guild or create gear for each other's guilds. Like, we have a lot of leather that we have, and you need leather. You have a lot of gold bars. We need gold bars. So let's do like a little trade and, you know, buy some stuff and help both of us out. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of communication, a lot of people chatting with each other, getting to know each other. Like that's what MMOs are about. And people have lost sight of that, like over time.
True. So true. Yeah, I miss that. I miss that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I think a lot of the systems in Ashes are going to be like, it's just a breath of fresh air, because I just feel like today's MMOs are so stale. And, you know, I look at New World, I looked at their Steam charts. I think yesterday they had a concurrent player of like 23,000. So there's like 23,000 people playing yesterday for New World. And it's just, yeah, I mean, it's, my whole thing is that I just feel the MMO genre has just been on life support. Like there's not a game, like Lost Ark did a great job of bringing, it was like 1.4 million, I think was his peak concurrence. But right now I think there's like less than 300,000 people playing daily, which is still good, you know, but it's not the millions and millions of people playing like Final Fantasy 14 or the millions of people playing World of Warcraft. So I think, again, we just need a game that's going to really not only whet the appetite of the people, but bring something completely new. And I think that's what Ash's creation is in general. So, and I don't know if I asked you this. So was it just watching the Lazy Peon video that you just decided, okay, I'm going to make YouTube content? Like, did I ask you that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember the rabbit hole.
Right. So you basically just went down that rabbit hole, because I don't know. I just feel like to make a decision to be a YouTube creator is a big one. Like that's not anything that people usually take lightly. So I don't know. I just think you've done like a really, really great job on like your content and what you've been doing, and you're refining. Like I said, and I told a couple of the other content creators this. I said, if anybody has the best thumbnails, people always want to mention Narc. Bro, you have the best thumbnails. Your thumbnails like are so good. And for me, who's still trying to learn thumbnails, like, because again, I hate editing. I hate compiling photos and getting them all together and doing all that stuff. Like, it's just not my forte, but I can appreciate the work that goes into them, because I know for myself what goes into my little crappy thumbnails. And so seeing yours, I'm like, man, like that's the level I would like to get up to, you know, but it's just going to take time. It's going to take work. But I'm really curious, like, so what do you see yourself doing in the future? Like, do you just still want to be pumping out Ash's content now until Alpha 2, or like what is your plans for your channel?
I mean, the focus for right now is like you mentioned earlier that the way they do the thing, like trickling content with the streams and like a bit of more info, it's like it kind of sucks for the creators.
Right.
I mean, that's okay for me right now, because I'm extremely busy. Like all I do in my free time is like job, then I go edit, and then back to job. That's like that's all my time.
Right. I'm pretty much in the same boat, so I feel you.
Yeah, so it's a struggle, but eventually, like I hope maybe I can go full time into content creation. So the focus will be and it will remain like Ashes, because I want to keep doing this until it launches and beyond, because I think it will succeed. Like it will be big. It will be something amazing. But besides that, if I get more free time, sometimes I would also like to do other formats.
Right.
I see great stuff on YouTube. I see like there's a creator that makes the death of an MMO, like the death of the game.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that guy? I also love Peon's content. Like he like goes into a game blind and he just plays it. That's great. I don't know yet what I will make, but I want to find something I want to find something unique. I don't want to like copy something that I find, and like play lots of games. Ashes plus lots of games.
Wow, that's gonna be a lot of time you have to dedicate to that.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I want to do, and I like you said earlier that you're passionate about this, and I think if you got that and you stay true to yourself, like passion is like irreplaceable. You can learn the thumbnails, you can learn the video editing, like you're gonna learn it. You're gonna learn it. but you cannot learn the passion. Like, if you don't have the
Yes.
happiness to get up in the morning, like, man, I'm gonna create something new,
Right.
you cannot replace that. So you
Right.
already got the most important thing.
Right. That's what my wife tells me all the time. She's like, you already got it, babe. And I was just like, okay. I was like, it's just a lot of work, man. Like, and I don't think many people know what it takes to do YouTube. You know what I mean? And again, like with your content, do you have like a cycle that you do? Like, do you do content whenever it's done, you release it? Or do you try to be on a schedule? Or like, how do you put your content out?
No schedule. It's like complete chaos for me. Yeah, I do some stuff I like, and then it just goes out.
Right.
And on to the next.
Right. And so honestly, like that, because I wanted to see if I can do weekly content, and I thought originally doing 2 videos a week, and I was like, no, let me just start off with 1. And 1 video a week has been very stressful for me.
Yeah.
So and again, like, I don't want people to think like, oh, I'm not making weekly content anymore, or I'm not relevant, or there's no reason to subscribe. Like, I'm still going to make content, but what I want to do, at least what my goal is, look into the future, is I want to make good content. I don't want to make content that was just good for the week that I made it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, and I've been noticing that with my videos, that I'm like, if I would have spent 3 more days on that video, it could have been so much better. And it's like,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean? And and again, maybe it's my perfectionist side of me. But at the end of the day, like I want to bring good content to people. I don't want to bring like mediocre content, you know? And so I've been really struggling, at least myself, with, should I just release content when it's ready? You know, and if it's not ready for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, so be it. But I think that's why I love these 1v1s, because if I can try to do these 1v1s weekly, it's super easy to edit. Like everything I do here is very, very easy for me to do. So I would love to talk with more content creators. I would love to talk with more gamers that are excited for Ashes, or maybe not even excited for Ashes, just is a huge MMO nerd. Because I've played so many MMOs. I just love talking about them. You know what I mean? And I love to see where people come from, because everybody has this different background with what they want from an MMO. You know, because they got burned from this MMO, that they're like, man, when I saw Ashes do this, man, like I really, really loved it. Like one of the really cool things, like I'll mention this real quick, that I found to be very unique to Ashes is the monster coin system. So I don't know if you saw the monster coin system or know about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is very freaking cool. The fact that you can find these coins in the world and then become the villain and go and raid a node with like other like draglings or other like skeletons, and you're like this mega zombie or whatever the case is, like that is so cool. Like, because I always thought in WoW, like, wouldn't it be cool if you became a raid boss and you had like only 4 abilities or 3 abilities that you can do in a certain timer or whatever, but you're like, you have this like millions of health and you're just like auto meleeing people, and it'd be really fun. And here Ashes, they're like, hey, we're gonna do that, and it's gonna be like not like all the time, but it's gonna be like when it happens, you're gonna be like, oh crap, like it's a monster coin like thing, we gotta go and protect our node or something like that. Like to me, that is, again, I just love how Steven and the team are trying to bring new elements to the MMO genre, because I feel like for the longest time we've been at this very stale period of content, and just the same content and the same new MMOs that are bringing out the same things, like the Mythic Plus system for World of Warcraft that's being replicated in New World now. I forgot what they call it, but it's basically Mythic Plus. So it's like, again, it's fine to use systems from other games, but you need something new too. You need something that's going to bring them to your game. So I guess to wrap up this conversation, this is the question I usually ask all my viewers. So why do you personally believe in Ashes of Creation? Like, what about the game do you feel like it's going to succeed?
If I had to choose only one, basically.
Sure, why not?
I mean, if not choosing only one is the option, I mean, everything like blends together it will. But if choosing only one, do you want something like in-game related, like a system from the game? Because I would probably not say that. I would just say how smart they approach things, the team. That makes me the most hopeful.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Not their decisions, like definitely their decisions, and getting whatever is the best from like everything. It feels like they know they're gonna take the best thing from something, incorporate it there, or like not the best, or maybe something unique from there, incorporate that too. Like get what's good, innovate some more, and like it's the right balance of new stuff and like good stuff.
Right.
They're doing things smart.
No, right. And again, like I think Intrepid is, they learn from their lessons. They're going full steam ahead. And personally, I think, so let me ask you this real quick. So this will be a more direct question. When do you think Alpha 2 is going to launch?
Oh man. I mean, I kind of knew it was coming. Alpha 2. Probably not this year.
Really? You think not this year?
Yeah, I think not this year. Maybe at the beginning of the next year.
So, okay. And I've said this on record because there's videos of me saying this. So I'm not going back on it, but I will say this. I believe that internally, after Alpha 1 was done, that Intrepid was gunning for an Alpha 2 release in 1 year. So July of 2021 is when Alpha 1 came out. I think July of 2022 is when I think they wanted to have Alpha 2 come out. I think with outside of Unreal Engine 5 and that sending them back to implore that into the system, if they don't release Alpha 2 in the summer, they will not release Alpha 2 till January of next year. So I'm right there with you, because I think what they would do is save their December of 2022 live stream to make the big announcement like they did for this past December and say, hey, Alpha 2 next month, guys. Yes. So that's what I think. If they don't launch it in the summer, January is probably when we're gonna, or first quarter of next year sometime. It's probably when we're gonna get it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of see the tendency they incline towards like not like delaying it and it like impressing everyone.
Right. And I think that's exactly what they want to do. But Reydan, dude, thank you so much for doing this 1v1 with me, man. Like, I really appreciate it, especially with such the time difference between where I am and where you are. I was really happy we're able to get just this, just hour-long conversation with me. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun.
It really was. Thank you for inviting me. I know, like, I feel bad for, I know I delayed it a bit.
Oh, no, there's no problem at all. Like, dude, I'm completely flexible time-wise. So again, if you're watching this, I'm flexible. Like, I can fit in any time usually. But so where can people find you, Reydan? Can they find you like YouTube, Twitter? Do you have like all the things, socials?
Nah, it's pretty much just YouTube and a Discord that I don't advertise, but you can find in descriptions usually.
Okay, cool. And I will make sure to post those descriptions. You give me the links, I'll put them in the description down below of this video. So if you want to go and check out Reydan's content, if you haven't, shame on you. You should. So, but again, dude, thank you so much. I had a lot of fun. And
no, thank you for inviting me.
No problem at all, man. And thank you guys so much for watching. Tune into my next 1v1. Hopefully it'll happen next Wednesday. And again, if you want to come on my podcast, just send me a message. I am open on all the things. My name is Vlhadus. I will see you guys on the next one.